Hello everyone and welcome to the Age of Listening channel. As always, we're going deep, and when we go deep into the symbols of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, you're really able to see the story of each card and learn tarot a lot faster. So this is the number 6 card and is reflected with the Earth sign and Capricorn particularly. excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold. And the planet is Saturn. Number 15, we numerologically we break that down so that the card that it's reflected most here is the Lover's card. I'll go in and explain that later. So in this card, we're introduced to the last phase of the Major Arcana. And this is talking about the archetypal hidden forces that exist outside of us, but we will be entertained with at some point or throughout the whole of our lives. So really this card is about ignorance and materialism, and I'll go into that now. So let's bring up first, while I do a little bit of talking, a general overview of what this card means, just have a look at what we have here in the symbols and see if you can begin to work it out. So the devil in religion and society is a symbol for what is normally seen as kind of a bad or oppressive, out to get us. The church has done a grand job of scaring the living daylights out of all of us, you know, kind of by saying that the devil is out to get us, really, and is around every corner ready to steal, kill and destroy us. You know, but for me, having a background in the church in the past, it never really rang true with me, because, you know, it's as if there's this demigod who's running around causing havoc, and God is completely impotent to react against this dark force. And people say, oh, well, it's about, you know, freedom of choice and giving us free will. So if that's my point, then it's a God organised plan in the first place, is it not? Surely. And that made me start to deeply investigate the Bible, and subsequently, you know, one of the many reasons why I left the organised church. Excuse me. So darkness is the absence of light or illumination, and it's our error in the way that we think that brings this darkness, this devil card, into our lives. And this devil card is showing us the errors of our ignorance and where it is possibly taking us into the material world, and not just materialistic as in buying lots of stuff, but materialism into only concentrating on earthly matters. So we've lost contact with who we really are. As is seen in the Hangman, he's who we should be. He's what illumination looks like. And so we're ignorant, and we cling to what our senses can see, taste, hear and feel more than we are the spiritual aspects of ourselves. The sort of life that you have with, that we should have, that should be joyful, and enjoying the physical life and the physical experience, we should be entertaining, you know, because duality is about embracing the darkness and the light. But instead of those physical senses and enjoying all these wonderful things, instead this is where the egos run amok, and it is taking over us, our desires and our temptations. And it's a chain of events. It leads to a chain of events where really we need to hop off that mad train. And this is a card that's indicating this will never leave us. This is always around, but we are in control, and the choice is us as whether we want to be tempted by the baser nature of our being. Because sex is a wonderful thing. Sex can unite us with our spiritual selves, if you believe in tantric sex. And I love all of the notion when I read. I'm only just beginning to read up about it. Of course, it's the most... apart from meditation and deep prayer, it's the second best thing, I think, to connecting to God, if you're with a partner who is like-minded. But if you're not, then sex is just sex, and it can become something that enslaves you. So, you know, before we had, you know, this struggle that we have, and we brought it up before with the Strength card, and we brought it up before with the Chariot card. These are what we need to do and how we need to do it in order to not be led by the Devil card. Part of this card's power is the fact that it's showing the querent or whoever's reading that the Fool needs to look beyond the illusion. Okay, this is what this card is intrinsically about. Look beyond the illusion that is in front of you. So what is beyond the illusion of the physical senses? Well, it's our inability to see that there is a spiritual aspect to our lives, and if we embrace the spirituality, then we are not going to be led by the Devil card and the Devil himself, because the Devil isn't real. The Devil is a part of us, within us, which is always there, that dark side of us which has deep motivation and sort of controlling and tempting and power hungry and everything else. That's within us, and that's something that's part of the game, you know. And if you remember, we spoke before, what was our last card that I did? So the Death. So the Death card, you know, there are things we've got to... The whole game of life is about putting certain things to death, the ego side of death. If you don't, the repercussions is him. Right, so let's go straight in to all of the symbols. So we saw that... Oh, and I haven't picked it up, but we saw that in... the High Priestess card, she was sitting on a square block, and that generally represents the kind of the whole universe. Here he's sitting on the rectangle box or block, and that represents an incomplete understanding, So their postures as well, they don't look frightened. I see if I can get this to work. I'm not sure. Let's see. So they don't look frightened. They're just quite asleep, really. You know, quite docile. And this is what kind of is it's all about, really. The fact that they are asleep. The Devil card represents those who've rested in the belief that nothing else exists outside material world. The sexual and political desires are really the only thing they're interested in. And we see that in the media, don't we, all the time? I'm not going to name names because it's within all of us and I don't really want to judge them. But as examples, there are people who are on all social platforms, in newspapers. They have their own show, and it's all just about sexual things, material gains, and it's so kind of one-dimensional. and they don't really have a clue about the spiritual side to life at all. So the devil's hands are mirroring the, let me find it, the magician's hands. So let's have a look. So here you've got as above, so below. He has the same one arm up, the right hand up and the left hand down, but this is signifying something completely opposite. Okay, so the devil's hands, I'll leave that up actually, the devil's hands are mirroring the magician's, but instead the devil has a torch in the left hand, which points down to the material world, where the magician has it pointed up to God, the spiritual energy, creator God. The fingers parted in the middle of his right hand, because the right hand always means where he's seated in, where he's if you imagine seated at the right hand of God, it's an incredible place to be. It is a royal place to be. Well, he is seated here with the symbol of Saturn on his palm, symbolizing limitations, restrictions and weaknesses. The fingers parted in the middle, which is, Spock. That's a bit interesting. Have a look up about that, because there's all sorts of reasons why Spock does that. Okay, so here he has the Spock sign representing, let me have a look, because I've written it down. Oh, what is it? Yeah, the fingers pointed in the middle represent the bringing down of spiritual forces that are within us. Now, so this is destruction, destructive, okay, very Saturn-y, okay, very Saturn-y. So his open palm indicates that everything you see is all that there is. And if you know anything about body language, when you give somebody the open palm, or both of your hands are open, and you're saying, no, believe me, I'm telling the truth. It's a subconscious way of saying, I'm being honest, this really is all that there is, I'm hiding nothing. And here the open palm is sort of saying the same thing. That everything that you see is all that there is, but it's a lie. So the irony is the symbol of the open palm saying, I'm telling the truth. This is everything. I'm telling you everything. The villain says to the policeman. What he's doing is it's a slight turn on it, and what he's meaning is, everything you see, hear and touch and smell, that's what's real. The reversed pentagram or pentacle, so usually if we turn that the opposite way, you've got, what's it called? Universal Man? I forget his name now. But he's a man with an outstretched legs. Well, here it's reversed. And so where before you'd have the head at the top and then you'd have, his ghouly gangly bits in between his legs, here it's reversed, showing that it's not the head that's ruling, it's the groin area. And this is about our earthly desires taking precedence over our kind of sensible judgment. Our sexual organs are above our head. You get it? So when we look at the torch here, we see a torch that is lighting the man's tail, red for passion and lust. Red can mean lots of things, negative and positive. Here it's definitely negative. So he's lighting the man's tail, indicating that he has got passion in this general area. And the man, if you look at him, is looking at her groin area. Let's see if we can get that. Yep, that's where he's looking. Now, the chains, oh yeah, with the torch as well, it is a fire, and this indicates that when there is light, I mean, you've got darkness everywhere, which is, you know, showing that there's no illumination at all of any higher things. But really we have a choice, because there is a certain amount of flame here, and only flames can illuminate. So it is his choice that he stays in the dark, because there is an opportunity whenever you're in this situation or this mindset, that you can get out of it, as represented by the chains, because the chains can come off. Their heads are smaller than the loop in the chain, so they can get themselves out. Right, so the tail with both of them are illustrating that they've been almost turned into animals, turned into that baser level of themselves. The female figure here, unlike the Lover's card, and I wanted to bring that up, and I hope, yes. So we have the Lover's card, and look at this. These are like the twins. Again, another set of twins. Can you see? Look at all the similarities. So that behind him is sexual desires. By him, it's the tree of knowledge and illumination. I think I got that one right. I've forgotten now. I get mixed up between these two trees unless I've got my notes with me. Over here, behind her, she's got the tail of kind of opulence and security and luxury, but over here this is wisdom and fruit, and you know, the tree of good and evil, and the good of polarity, really. But here she's not looking up like the Tree of Lovers. She's not looking to create a god and higher wisdom. Instead, kind of, well, in here I tried to look. Some people have said that she's looking directly at us. I don't really see that. I think she's quite obsessed, self-obsessed with what she wants, to be honest. But the devil is looking straight at us. The angel has his eyes closed, or you could say he's looking down, but he's in deep meditation. He's aligning himself with Creator God. This one's looking at us going, how you doing? Basically, bit of a temptation there. There is all sorts of different imagery. We've got the bat's wings, the goat's legs, the eagle's feet. I could go into that. I mean, I guess the goat's legs is talking about the enjoyment of thrills. Horns denote stubbornness, you know, and there is horns here, so there's a certain amount of stubbornness. People don't want to leave what they're trapped to or bonded to. Bat wings, feasting on darkness, feasting in darkness, you know, that sort of thing. Eagle's feet is kind of that Scorpio water, so that would make some sense because you have got emotions here. Right, so reversed then. Let's take that away. Sorry, I'm just getting myself sorted. So let's take this aside and let's look at what we have. Here with the Everyday Witch card, we have just temptation. We've got a devil who looks very charming, and he's got these young people. Phallically, there's a there's a mountain that's about to spew. Could they be getting up to no good? Ooh, I don't know. But you've certainly got that that volcano about to erupt. Excuse me. Over here, you've got her looking to him for guidance. Don't do it, because he is just looking straight at the devil. In the tarot card, the males really have a bad time of it. I'm not going to get into that, because they're always viewed as, you know, looking to the female for a lead, because they view her as more spiritual. But she's looking towards him, and women lose their power, because instead of looking above, we tend to look towards a man to help us, because we love companionship. And if we are not rested to the companionship of our Creator God, we fall miserably. We're, as females, the feminine energy, we're meant, and it's almost within our DNA, to be connected to higher source. You know, so when we look at the men in our lives and look for material worldly love, it always trips us up. So ladies, there's a bit of advice for you. Don't seek for love in a man. He will let you down, just like any, or, you know, relationships in general will let you down. Have that relationship with your Creator God. Connect to your higher self. Look for things outside in the spiritual realms. They're much more satisfying than looking towards another human being for fulfillment. When it comes to the guy, you know, bless his cotton socks, he's looking at the earthly things, earthly pleasures, as is stated in this card, earthly pleasures. He's tempting them with different things, her with opulence and things that taste lovely, and him with a male with money and power that it brings. We have our lovely little cats here, who are generally animals, well, as I've stated, like the fool with the dog, that we're never alone. Look at the cats here. They're going, don't be stupid. Don't listen to him. They represent kind of our higher self, trying to guide us out of the silly situation. With the Witch's Tarot, they've not called it the Devil card, they've called it the Shadow Side. And I really, really like that, because, as I said, the devil doesn't really exist. He can't be, you can, well, supposedly, again, in Christianity, it can only be in one place at one time, and yet, feasibly, he seems to be haunting everybody all the time. But, you know, he's not omnipresent, he's not omnipotent, but, you know, the church does preach it like that. And they'll say, oh, well, it's about demons, it's about demons. If I'm really honest, whenever I'm really going to go out on a limb here, I'm going to get shot down. In my humble opinion, which is only my experience, I have found that kind of demons only tend to really come out when you're in a place, like, let's say, manifest, only tend to manifest when you're in a place that you are open to manifesting everything low. I've never experienced any kind of, I've seen ghosts, or or what I would call ghosts, but I think they're probably just lower frequency beings. But when I look at it, I was a teenager, and, you know, but when I also look at other people and they say, oh, I had a demon come to me, or and they're usually in a really low place, and they're in a real sort of either drug addiction, alcoholism, or just a bad emotional place. And I think we create everything. I believe we create just as, you know, the seat in front of us with our vision, as much as we can conjure up darker forces in our imaginations. But that's just kind of, at the moment, that's kind of what I've come to understand. But I know as a lot of people who've experienced will go, no, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm a pure and perfect being, and I have never been in a low place, and no, it's definitely something outside of myself. Well, okay, that is also your personal belief. I don't mind. I'm going to pee off everyone, but you know, that's what I've witnessed. So let's look over here. We've got here this, I mean, I've got to say, this is the most handsomest man I've seen for a long time. I don't know where the artist got her description of the perfect looking man, but boy, he floats my boat. But you can see here, it's slightly different in that he holds like a puppet on a string, this individual. Let's lift him up a bit. So that's slightly, but not completely going away with what I'm saying. It's an aspect of it. You know, we can be led by our emotions, but we've got to realize that we chained ourselves up. We let this in. We allowed ourselves to be controlled by this baser side of ourselves. Very watery, very spiritual. We see here this, you know, he almost looks like he's in water, but it could just be ethereal, couldn't it? Magical. Look at all these beautiful, I mean, it looks just like glitter almost all around him. Okay, so I think we'll leave it there for the descriptions. I think you can understand. Let's look at the reverse and the upright meanings. So either way, it's not good. I was trying to think of a way to kind of say this in a positive way. But, you know, whether it's reversed or not, it's pretty sucky, to be really honest. And we have to understand, I mean, I was looking at this card upside down and I was trying to kind of meditate on it. Our feet will take us exactly in the direction we want to go. Is that direction the right direction? You know, our feet do the walking, and mattering to our heads, where our head is, it will, in this case, lead us nowhere good. So reversed, hold it underneath, let's have it like that. Reversed, we're entrapped, definitely entrapped. You might be in a place where you're at an AA meeting, where you're still in the throes of it. You're getting help, you know, reversed, you're getting help. It's slightly-ish better, but you're still being, you're still facing all of the raw, immediate repercussions of being in the devil card upright. So in order to get rid of the devil card, you really have to face your feelings of where you were and where you are now. That's recovery. You know, when you leave a person who is your own devil, if you're in a relationship, whether it be family or a chosen partner, until you face your feelings of, how did I get here? Who am I to have allowed this into my life and change me and mold me into something I should never have been? Then you're really not going to get rid of this card in a reading. This card will be present until you have broken those chains, and I would say receive the death card. So once you've gotten the devil, whether it be, and it is reversed, the next card might be to receive the death card. Phew, finally, out of your life. Or you might have got the death card saying, you need to get rid of this devil, and something is going to happen to do it. Some occurrence is going to happen into your life, and then your devil card will be reversed. So you're not quite out of the woods. That's what I'm trying to say. You're still in misery, you're still floating around, and just, you know, keep going to those AA meetings, keep becoming more and more conscious of what has happened. Yeah. So upright, what does upright mean? Brilliant. This is going to thrill your boat. I was writing this down going, oh gosh. Okay, so this is slave to our desires, slave to our addictions, could be unfulfilling sex or an unfulfilling career, sexual, well, what have I said? The different shades of grey. So I was thinking of the different shades of grey book. If ever you've got there the devil card, I mean, it's just, I mean, the whole book is just a devil card. It's kind of a big, huge warning sign. And it kind of makes me laugh when people turn around and they say positive things about, I mean, I am sorry about the lady that wrote it. I'm not having a go. You've made loads of money and it's a great demonstration of the devil card. But it's the devil card. This is a man. If you want to picture any person that represents the devil card, look at him. Different shades of grey. I think he's called Mr. Grey, isn't he? Anyway, it's the Capricorn man. I have known a few Capricorn men, and I've got to be really honest. If they are not evolved, really not emotionally, physically, no, not physically, emotionally or spiritually evolved, they are the devil, I swear. They kind of like modest on the, they're like a woman to dress very modestly on the outside to show the world that they are in control, a master of their field, and very, very dominant and very restrained. But get them alone and in bed and they want dirty. I've not slept with a Capricorn man. I just know of women that have, and they want dirty, really dirty.